So what do we know now? Well, COVID-19 came from the UW dialectical crowd around Bill Gates, and I was nowhere here. And I found that Clint Eastwood's book is right next to Sergei Eisenstein's book in their library here. So at the very start of cinema, we see the combination of the American cinematographers and the Soviet cinematographers uniting in a complex operation involving media. And this is clearly designated by the placement of the books. So there's a Jekyll Island Club, which everyone is designated only by their first name. They're very prominent people. Who's the first person who comes to your mind when you hear the name, the first name? Ronald, for example. That's like a kind of capital ownership of a concept name. So the Jekyll Island system was in place, we know, in Pittsburgh when Ronnie and Casper attacked me, Jimmy C. They're using these super ship signifiers. In fact, Clint was the first person to grab Jackie after it was all over for JFK. So we see there was a Charles Bronson filming too. So you get these two macho guys right there. So they won. We know they won. So what are we doing? We're squaring it with the history books. Oswald was in Russia and he was in America. He was a joint player in this 50-50 action from the non-aggression pact of Axis Hollywood with Russian cinema. And Putin and Toon are just continuing the operation. It's a 50-50 non-aggression pact between moguls playing leapfrog behind the scenes in the room behind the revolving bookshelf in Axis Hollywood. And they're manipulating the nights of resignation, for war operations, for war games, and to put people into martial law. The Two Virgins Pussy Ball operation of the Texas school book was clocked to Japanese hymnology by Nosferatu's clique in Pittsburgh. They had DD, whose bitter nib had been removed. You removed the bitter nib, and she went out lustily to seduce Queerball. And he was then designated the Walrus. And John Lennon pulled his Houdini. We know from the facts that John Lennon pulled a Houdini. We know that from the facts, from the nightmarish operation of behind the scenes in Axis Hollywood, the super coded semiotic that had four elements: Hitler's escape, Two Virgins Pussy Ball clock to the AIDS attack, the murder of JFK as execution for punishment for Hiroshima, and Lennon's Houdini. Those four elements are unmistakable in the whole super semiotic. So they didn't just leave it to chance that this dumbass hippie would go out that night. He was in on it. He went out and they pulled. Clint calls it we're doubles there. They used double agency. Because I wrote a poem about Shaky, they thought it would be poetic justice. Spike Goldley was in on all of this stuff to give me, because of the Two Virgins Pussy Ball operation. It's typical of New York. They wanted a picture on the wall with Ms. Goldo. So they get Obama picture on the wall. But they made me into a parky. This is their idea of poetic justice, because they loathe and hate anybody who's independent. For example, suppose I was to win my lawsuit over, because I had no right to do this to me. They tortured me, and then they came in with alternative media. The sandbaggers put on a little sexcapade story, playing on my desire, like everyone else, to have lifelong matrimony. Noam Chomsky's queerbait, and he got all the sandbaggers together, and they all mediated me. So, these people are deviant psychotics. Suppose I won my lawsuit. They would all be coagulating. Oh, we'll get you, pussy. Well, we can get you. We can get you. I would have to protect myself from them. And the more I had to spend to protect myself from them, because I have no concept of integrity, the more I would have to spend to protect myself from them, the less I would have that could potentially be useful and helpful. So I mean, and they gnash at the idea of granting another human being their dignity. They gnash at it.